Good morning. It's Fire Horse Energy. It's the 17th of February, and today is the first day of the Fire Horse. And I'm not into Chinese astrology and the horoscope and all that sort of stuff. I dabble in all of that sort of stuff, but I don't know much about it other than the snake energy was quite intense at the last couple of weeks, maybe even the last couple of months, as the snake was shedding all of the old stuff. And sometimes I find myself going through something, and then I find out later that it's related to some sort of alignment with the stars or the horoscope or something, and I go, that's what was going on. And that's sort of what's been happening with the snake. The energy of the snake was all of this shedding, all of this awareness of leveling up in a way that I wasn't consciously doing. It was just happening to me. And so here we are in the Fire Horse, and apparently the Fire Horse is going to be intense. And so we can move into these things in a consciously, and create in a conscious way, or we can be dragged by the scuff of the neck, right? And moved into it just like as part of the collective. And I don't know about you, but I know for myself, I prefer to be consciously aware of what's going on, and not necessarily what's going on the collective, because then the collective, this is the dichotomy of it, right? Because the collective actually influences us, and it also can influence, so it can influence us in just like a way that we are part of the collective, right? So we're on our individual experience and our individual journey, and then the collective can be influencing us in a negative way, where it's taking us off our own path, or it can actually be in that place of influencing us just because we are part of the whole, which is what sort of was happening for me, or has been happening for me in a collective way with the shedding of the snake. On Valentine's Day, it was our proposal anniversary. No, we're not married yet. And we went out to dinner, and there's something that's shifted in my body. I used to have a glass of wine, right? Have a glass of wine. If I had two, I was gone. But something has shifted where alcohol just doesn't feel right in my body anymore. It's got, I can feel that it changes my cellular structure, and that it's numbing it in a way. So I ordered a mocktail instead, and unbeknown to both of us, they had the same mocktail as a cocktail. And so Tim didn't know, he just asked for a raspberry mojito. And next thing I know, I was like this much through it, and I could feel that shift in my body. It had Bacardi and some other alcohols in it. It was only like this much, and I could feel my body numbing. And it was the perfect confirmation that there's something shifting in an energetic way in my body that's making these, like, I also find that the foods that I used to eat are not feeling right for me anymore. I'm wanting higher frequency foods. We just also put in a reverse osmosis filter system in the bottom of our sink, and I've been going through like an energetic purge as all of the fluoride and the chlorine and all that sort of stuff comes out, and we're just drinking this pure soft water. It's like someone said it's like angel's piss, right? Like it's just beautiful. And that all of these things, as well as the shedding of the snake energy, moving into the things that no longer serve. And so for me, it's been more about my health, what I'm putting into my body. When I'm not listening to my higher self, when, like first thing in the morning, go for a walk and I don't listen, I go and do something else. And so I had this moment with my higher self where she sort of berated me. My higher self can be very, she actually sort of presents as a little bit like that woman from Frozen, that young, I haven't even watched the movie, but she can be pouty and she can cross her arms, and she can be quite an interesting character when she wants to be. There's two like sort of layers to my higher self, that layer and then a more high priestess, Avalon sort of energy as well. And so it's quite interesting to be in the process of the fire horse. And I want to ask you, what have you noticed when it comes to releasing things that no longer serve, right? What have you been settling for that you're no longer prepared to settle for? Because we all settle for something, and I've been settling for a mediocre spiritual life instead of really taking ownership of what it is that I'm prepared to tolerate in my life, and what I don't want to tolerate anymore. And one of the things is I'm not tolerating not listening to myself, not taking action and making commitments to what I know my highest path is. And that's a lot of dedication, right? Because your higher self can be telling you one thing and society can be telling you another thing, or your mentors or whatever can be telling you something, and your intuitive information can be confusing because you're doing, like, which one am I listening to, right? And so generally, I would say 90% of the time, I listen to my higher self and my intuition, and yet that 10% is the part that I'm taking into the fire horse, because that 10% means total dedication, which means really fast pace, which is not my normal style, which means, catalytic, like sometimes even chaos, as I'm just stripping the old and just moving really fast into what this fire horse energy is. And this is why this year is going to be really, really different for all of us. All of us are going to notice this fire horse energy, because it's no more sort of like tweaking or polishing or waiting for things to be ready. This is all about declaring who we are, claiming who we are, acting before certainty actually arrives, right? Like acting before you're ready. And this is where the needle moves in life, because what part of us stops us from moving forward when we're not ready? Who is it that's not ready? Because our higher self is always ready. It's the identity, it's the part of us that wants to hold on to the past and the comfort of the discomfort that doesn't feel ready. And so when you jump before you feel ready, that's when things start really shifting in your life, because that's when you're moving into the unknown and you're stepping into a place where you're just really flowing downstream with your higher self, your intuitive knowing. And that's where the stream, like just takes you. And that's what's really interesting about the fire horse energy, is that you can just jump on the like on the back of this horse and catapult, let it gallop into the unknown, and you just follow, you just go along for the ride. And this year I can see and feel, and I've been, you know, white rabbit moments of things coming into my reality where I'm seeing a lot about the shifts that are going to be happening in AI, about how quickly things are going to change in the online industry, like the coaching industry. We're no longer in a place of learning. We want to experience. And that's why I've created this new course that I'm doing called Settling to Soulmate, because my higher self brought this information in, and it was just like dropped in all these quick layers, like I was being downloaded like Matrix, you know, like Neo from the Matrix. And I have never heard of anyone doing a course like this before. It's going to be like a portal. It's going to be an experience rather than a teaching or a learning, right? This is where you embody what it is that you're choosing to create. And it's from Settling to Soulmate, because soulmate is, you know, what is a soulmate? We are a soulmate. We are a connection to our own soul. And so it's for people that are, yes, interested in meeting the love of their life, like I did, in a magical way, right? Like not just meeting someone, but actually having the experience of being aligned and embodied with your higher self and letting the magic really just happen in your life. And it's for anyone that really wants to embody themselves, because when you embody your own frequency, when you really step up into your highest timeline, then soulmates are everywhere. Friends, colleagues, acquaintances, you know, like lovers, all of those things are all connected, because you are aligned with the collective soul family that's here to support you to elevate in your, you know, experience down here. I dare not say, you know, this is a school and these are lessons, but it's something similar. We're definitely here growing and expanding and learning from previous experiences. We came down and dropped in with a set of circumstances to support us to move into a different way of being, a different belief system. And so as we elevate, we become more and more of our own source energy and recognize that we're the ones that are making the choices. We're the ones that are making the decisions of how to create this reality. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why there's so much going to be going on in Peacemaker Ascension Portal this year. It's going to be very exciting. A podcast is happening, this new course, and in-person events will be happening in the halfway through the year, or, you know, like the other end of the year. So what is it that you are committing to? What is it that you are consciously creating in your reality? Because we can be dragged, right? Like at the back of the horse and screaming, like freaking out because we don't know what's going on. Or we can be consciously aware of what we've already let go of and moving into that fire energy of catalytic frequency, letting go of what doesn't serve, what we're not tolerating, what we're settling for, and commit to actually moving into growth, expansion, embodiment, you know, all of the beautiful things that are going to happen this year. So, that's me. That's me for today. I've got lots going on in my head. We've been doing a lot of shifting and clearing in the house, in my body as well. We've been doing a lot of cleansing stuff. So I am looking forward to this year, and I will catch you next time.